The cracks are starting to show. The Yankees rotation is really going through it, and something's got to be done.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. Alongside my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, what's going on?
Ooh, lots going on. That was a tough one, huh? They didn't play very great last night. Before we get to our first segment here, of course, we got to ask you for questions. I got a feeling you guys probably have some, so make sure to drop them in the comments of this YouTube video. Of course, if you're on the audio side, come on over and you can join the show. We answer your questions every Friday, so make sure to get them in. We'll have a preview of tonight's game 2 against the Halos. We also wanted to break down some of the offensive struggles a little bit later on, but we got to start with this rotation talk, Stacey. Clarke Schmidt, I'm going to first ask you, what's your clock on Clarke Schmidt? Like, well, if in an ideal world, which
we know we're not living in an ideal world, yeah.
We never live in one. But what's your clock on Clarke Schmidt right now?
Personally, I'm done with him. But if I were the Yankees, I mean, do they really have a choice? They kind of have to keep him in the rotation. Who else are they going to put in there right now?
Yeah, well, don't spoil the conversation. Couldn't get out of the fourth on Monday. And from my vantage point, he's just very hittable right now.
Yeah. And it's the annoying thing is he'll get someone to 0-2 and then he'll throw something right over the plate and give up a double. And that's, I spoke about this a couple of Clarke Schmidt starts ago. It feels like watching Phil Hughes over again, where the guy kind of has the stuff, but it's just there's that lack of a put away pitch. And it's just so frustrating to see that sort of a thing, especially that's one of my biggest pet peeves as a baseball fan, seeing someone go from 0-2 to a leadoff, like to a double. Or 0-2 to a walk, something like that, where
finishing.
Because when you're the pitcher and you're in control at 0-2, you should get the batter out. And that's just really frustrating to watch.
Yeah, definitely didn't start great for Clarke. Let Taylor Ward smack one down the right field line. Shohei goes yard, gives up a knock to Trout. Like it really started poor for Clarke. And he never really felt like he got into any sort of groove on Tuesday night. So this is something that I found startling. Looking at some stats. Clarke Schmidt last season, 20 earned runs and 57 and a third innings of work. Pretty good year. Like he did have a good year last year.
Yes.
We're talking about him in spring. We're like, yeah, like this is a guy who's definitely battling for the 5 spot. So 20 earned runs and 57 and a third. He's already giving him 14 earned in 14 and a third.
Yeah.
That is drastically different.
Yes.
Like screw night and day. This is complete opposite. Like something's got to give here, Stacey.
Yeah. I just don't know what. I don't know. I'm at a loss right now. It's just frustrating watching him because of how well he did last year. But I really feel like he's a bullpen guy. He needs to be in the bullpen. I don't think he can be a starter. I think this is a long enough trial for him to show that he can't be a starter. I mean, and it's not like he's facing really tough competition yet. Tonight was tough. You have 2 of the best players ever to play the game of baseball hitting, getting hits off you. It's like, but I just, it's really frustrating.
Here, Stacey, this is what I wanted to kind of talk about today. What can the Yankees do? There's not a lot of options right now. There aren't a lot of options. Because this is kind of happening to the Rail Riders right now too. I've said it a couple of times, but it bears repeating. Last year's trade deadline is catching up to the Yankees.
Yeah, it really
There's
is.
No Wesneski.
Nope.
There's no
Sears?
Waldichuk.
Yeah.
There's no Sears.
Oh,
There's no Jordan Montgomery.
every time those guys pitch, every time I see their names mentioned, if it's like it's a stab to the heart. It really is.
So right now in Scranton Wilkes-Barre, who is, by the way, in St. Paul, Minnesota, Matt Crook is still in the bullpen. So I think it's pretty clear what the Yankees' plan is for Matt Crook right now. So I think if there's any guy to try and come up and start in replace of Schmidt next time out, it's Crook.
Mm.
If I had to pick one, he's pitching really well out of the bullpen. But it's pretty clear what the Yankees want to do with Matt Crook.
Yeah.
He is, in my head, the most obvious answer if they're just trying to get Schmidt to not start in 5 days.
Now, well, speaking of bullpen, would it help the Yankees? Would it behoove the Yankees? Would it help them if maybe when they have Schmidt start,
He's just opening.
yes, like
So
maybe
they
he
have an
would
idea. Yeah.
maybe he would be better as an opener instead of making him feel the pressure of having to pitch
Maybe.
at least 5 innings, and maybe throw him out there and be like, look, just get us through 2 or 3. We're fine. We have
Well,
guys
he
lined up
hasn't
behind you.
pitched 5 innings. He has barely pitched 4.
Right.
So other things right now too. Just wanted to run through what Yankees fans might be thinking. Like, who can we get to help? I know there's some panic button going on here. That's for sure.
Yes.
Davey is 40-man, but he's also in the bullpen. So Davey Garcia is down with the Rail Riders in the bullpen, but he only has one option left. So he gets called up. You're gonna have to do something about that because they need a temporary fix right now. They need a Band-Aid, right? Yes. Ryan Weber is struggling, non-40-man anyway, so you'd have to make a move. Nick Ramirez is not having a ton of success either. He has more major league time than a lot of guys down there right now, and he just hasn't really started much in his career. Again, Weber and Ramirez, neither of which 40-man. The silver lining is Luis Severino is throwing live bullpen on Thursday. But that's in my head is still saying that you're going to have Clarke for at least one more, right? Because Clarke's out.
Yeah, he's out.
He's out of the rotation at this point. It's Herman. Even if Herman doesn't pitch great his next time out, he's had at least one good start.
Right, where Clarke Schmidt has not had any to this point. And
yeah.
And then Rodon is still having back issues, but he still made it through his bullpen. So yes, his back is
I'm not
barking.
even considering that right now, honestly, because it's such a weird, like, where are you?
Like, but it's just those are the two, right? But Rodon and Severino are the two guys that these two guys are replacing, and it's like at least one is close to coming back, where the other one is having what seems to be setbacks now, and it's.
Well, remember, Sevy too had a tough spring. Don't forget that.
That's
so
true
it's not
too.
like some savior is.
Oh no! But I feel like Severino at least has an out pitch. He could strike guys out when he's on, and I don't feel like Clarke Schmidt has that.
I mean, you really just need a 5 innings of 3 or less. Really, that's all you're looking for. Is
we're not.
We're
not
guy
asking,
to keep you in it.
Yeah, we're not asking you to do what Garrett Cole did on Sunday, Clarke.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I feel for Clarke Schmidt, man. I mean, again, he had a good last season, but I think it's pretty clear right now that this is not sustainable. You can't go every 5 days like this, let alone every 4 days and 5th day, because you don't know what you're going to get out of Domingo Germán right now.
Right.
It's tough. It's tough right now. I didn't want to do all negative here, Stacey. I did want to talk about the bullpen. They really locked it down. I was very impressed by Ron Marinaccio last night.
Yeah. Marinaccio, Cordero, Abreu, all 3 of them. I was thinking to myself, all right, just keep them here.
And they did. They did.
And maybe the offense could do something, but that did not happen.
Well, Higgy with the catcher's interference. So that runner shouldn't have been on. Shohei steals second, takes third. By the way, the Yankees catchers have yet to catch a base stealer. Opposing base runners are 13 for 13, which is, I mean, small sample, but it's alarming. Starting to get alarming. And then, I count one mistake to Rendon up in the zone, and that was it. So Marinaccio looked really good. His slider is just God, I love that pitch. It is just
A
one of the most.
slider overall, though, like if someone has a good slider,
I mean, his in particular, though.
yeah.
His sweeper, sorry,
Oh, that's
is
right.
one of the most impressive pitches I've seen in Major League Baseball. It is flat out beautiful. Jimmy Cordero looked good. And Abreu looks great. I mean, the bullpen is holding up. Probably better than we thought. And we saw Greg Weisser pitch, a couple of mistakes, but overall, the bullpen looked pretty good.
Yeah, and they're just getting a lot of work in
True. Very true.
because Clarke Schmidt can't last.
Yeah. Johnny Brito's really got to step up tonight, right? Like he's really got to step up. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Tonight's game, by the way, 7:05 Eastern, game 2 of the series on Sirius XM, and of course on the Sirius app. Make sure to listen there if you can't catch the game on Yes Network. In a second, we are going to talk a little bit about some of these offensive struggles. Kind of a negative episode today, but we definitely need to talk about some of these offensive struggles in just a minute.
Grand slams, no-hitters, and double plays are back, and there's no better place to get in on the MLB action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. That's because right now, new customers can step up to the plate with a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon, sign up, place your first bet, and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win. So don't miss your chance to get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball.
Hey, back here on Locked On Yankees. Thanks for making us your first listen every single day. Every dayers out there tomorrow, of course, we're going to be talking about game 2 of this series. Again, Johnny Brito's really got to step up. I think it's pretty imperative. You don't want the Yankees to start going on a skid here, and it kind of feels like they could here in the month of April. And part of that reason, Stacey, is some of these offensive struggles, and we saw it again on full display last night.
Yes, it was one of those second half of 2022 frustrating games for Yankee fans. We all remember how wonderful July and August were for the Yankees. And yeah, it just, they were getting people on base and then not getting the big hit, or they were being set down in order for innings in a row and not being able to do anything. And yeah, it's just frustrating because, you have your big hitters not doing much. And then you have the guys that you expect not to do much, not doing much. And it's just, it's like a snowball effect and just makes the game bad. And, they were only down 2-0 at first. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, they can get back into
against
this.
Jose Suarez, who, boy, he didn't look good last night either.
That was the other frustrating thing, because you had mentioned on the previous show how Suarez was not doing well. And I thought to myself, okay, maybe the offense can get back into things, because, they didn't really do much on Sunday either. It was a good thing that Garrett Cole pitched that complete game, because they only scored 2 and it was DJ LeMahieu who scored the 2. And I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe they can do something against Suarez.
Yeah. I mean, they threatened. They sure threatened. Couple of hard hit balls. Let's be fair.
That's true.
Yeah.
There were some bad luck, hard hit balls, lining at people. And it was just one of those games where it felt like nothing was going right for the Yankees starting wise and lineup wise. The only positive was the bullpen.
Yeah. 0-for-3 with runners in scoring position, 13 in a row set down at 1 point, Stacey. This kind of brings up a bigger thing. So we joked about this on our last episode about the black hole in the bottom of the order. There's legitimacy there.
Yeah.
The bottom of the order, 6 through 9 this season, 44 for 229. They're batting 192. Of those 44 hits, 11 have gone for extra bases. Weirdly enough, though, 7 of those out of the yard.
Yeah.
So that's kind of weird. Your 6 through 9, because it was Hicks in the 9, Higgy, IKF later pinch hit by Cordero. Oswald got the start. I mean, when you're looking at that last night, that's not much of a recipe for success, considering how all those players are playing right now, save Oswald Peraza.
Yeah. every person's batting average, or nearly every person, right, starts with a 1,
Yeah.
and it stands to reason because you just said the number. That is atrociously bad, and it is kinda weird that out of the 11 extra base hits, 7 of them are home runs.
Yeah.
Um,
Weirdly enough, though, of the 4 hits the Yankees got last night, 3 of them came from those batters.
yeah, right.
So very, very strange.
Yeah.
The only hit at the top of the order was from Anthony Rizzo, who, by the way, is hot.
Yes.
But yeah, there are issues there at the bottom of the order. There are no denying it. I think that gets helped out a little bit when Bader comes back,
Yes. I feel
right? Because
like
the pushes.
the lineup is gonna be a lot different with Bader and Volpe because I feel like they're very similar to each other.
Mm,
Um, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Volpe. Let me just say that. He had some good at bats. For a young player who's just really getting to know major league pitching, I like what I see from him. And as I said on the show Monday, I feel like he's gonna start really getting things
yeah.
together, and you see it slowly coming together. But I feel like Bader and Volpe together, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, something to look forward to here soon. Franchi not starting with a left-hander on the mound. That's why he didn't see him last night until that pinch hitting situation. So you'll see a different lineup for sure
Oh yeah.
on Wednesday night. But Stacey, you had one other weird takeaway from last night's game.
So if you didn't watch the game on Yes, Woody Harrelson was in the booth. Apparently his manager got him tickets, and um, I never realized because I never heard them speak together, but Woody Harrelson and Paul O'Neill basically have the same voice. And it was kind of hard to figure out who was talking, except for when one was talking about baseball and one was talking about the movies he was in. And he told a story about how in 2009, he snuck into the World Series with Owen Wilson, and they tried getting in behind home plate. They wouldn't let them in. And then they snuck in the side, and they were in. And then someone came up to them because I guess, I don't know, maybe one of the security guards that turned them away saw them and kicked them out. And he's like, "Can you believe it was me and Owen? They kicked us out of Yankee Stadium." But yeah, that I just thought it was really, when they said Woody Harrelson was in the booth, I was like, "What?" And it just was such a weird, it was probably the biggest highlight of the night for Yankee
And
fans
that's why you're
watching the
talking
game.
about it? No,
Yeah.
see, here's the thing, Stacey. I think you brought this up just to smite me because my Angels beat your Yankees. And you just had to bring up 2009 one more time, which I still contest. The 2009 Angels are the greatest Angels in Angels history. You like to dig at me sometimes.
I didn't even think I did.
Uh-huh.
I swear
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't
I
even
didn't
think of
even
that.
notice.
I didn't.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't
We'll
thinking that.
we'll see how on tomorrow's show how Stacey can bring up the 2009 Angels versus Yankees ALCS again. Again, tonight's game is on Sirius XM as always, and of course download the Sirius app. 7:05 Eastern, Angels Yankees game 2. When we come back, we have a preview for that game in just a second.
Ultimate Baseball GM is the coolest game I've played in a long time. I always thought I could be a great Major League GM, but it turns out it's not all that easy. If you've had the same thought and fantasized about managing your own franchise, download Pro Baseball GM immediately. You get to manage every strategic aspect of a franchise, playing through seasons and leading your franchise and fans to glory as you build a historic dynasty. You're responsible for hiring the coaches, the staff, managing the money, drafting players, scouting players, and managing through difficult personalities and injuries, and you navigate your franchise through free agency and all the ups and downs of a season. All this in a challenging and realistic game world. Ultimate GM is completely free and playable offline. Play on the go as you want and when you want to. Locked On Yankees listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo Locked On in the game store, so make sure to check it out. To download the game, just visit probaseballgm.com, scan the code, or look it up in the app stores. That's probaseballgm.com. Ultimate Baseball GM. Start your dynasty today.
Back here on Locked On Yankees, Game 2 preview kind of feels a little important, doesn't it, Stacey? Griffin Kennedy versus Johnny Brito. Boy, does Johnny Brito need to bounce back in a big way. Feel like he can kind of be the stopper.
Yes. Yes, it's kind of odd that the Yankees are hoping for Johnny Brito to be the stopper here.
I know. What did I just say? What am I talking about?
Yeah,
This is crazy. This is crazy what the Yankees have expected Johnny Brito to do.
I know. Yeah. Not the best game of his life against the Twins last Thursday. But as we've said a few times, there was some positives from that start, even though it didn't seem like there were a lot of positives from that start because he gave up so many runs right away. But I feel like if he gets through the first inning unscathed, that'll help him a bit. If he gives up a couple of runs, I won't mind, not in the first inning, but if he gives up a couple of runs in his outing and he can pitch at least 5, I would
Yeah.
be happy with that. And the Yankees would be happy with that because they need to rest some of the people in the bullpen and not have another repeat of Tuesday night. They need him to go at least 5.
Yes, that would be huge if they can get 5 out of Brito. Griffin Canning on the mound for the Halos last time out was against the Nationals and ended up giving up 2 earned in 5 innings of 4 Ks, exactly what the Angels needed out of him. It was his first outing since July 2nd, 2021.
Wow.
He had been out for a very, very long time. And Griffin Canning once was thought of as going to be one of the main guys, like maybe a 2 or 3 for the Angels rotation, but has been marred by injuries over the last few years. So we'll see how this game goes. Again, I feel like it's pretty crucial for the Yankees to get a win tonight. Not only just so they don't lose this series or at least have a fighting chance for a rubber game. But again, I feel like this team right now with the offensive woes over the last few days could begin to spiral a little bit.
Yeah.
And that deficit here in the AL East could start growing already.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think, I think they're the only team that hasn't lost a series because, technically they tied the
They
series with
split,
the Twins. Yeah. So split, that's the phrase, Stace. Split the series. So, who cares about that? No, they're not going to care about that either. But it's just nice to know that they're the last ones that haven't lost a series.
Well, I
It'd be
think it
good.
was Baltimore was with them too, weirdly. Or no, it was Arizona was
Yes.
on that, and then Tampa, because of course.
Right. Right. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's more important for Brito than
Yeah,
the
for
offense.
him to not spiral.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, especially just because the Yankees just really need him. They really need him right now. I mean, they're going to need him for at least 2 more weeks, right? Like it feels like that, even when Sevy comes back, because it feels like, again, Schmidt out, Sevy in, and
Yeah.
Brito stays.
Oh yeah, Brito's definitely staying. He's gonna
Yeah.
be the one to stay.
Yeah. Ideally, when he comes back, what do you look at that rotation? Does it go Cold, Nestor, Sevy, Brito, Herman?
Probably.
But it's more going to be, how does it line up?
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, that would be ideal, but
Yeah.
who knows how it's going to line up, and who knows exactly when he's coming back.
And when. Yeah.
Right.
When is this thing going to figure it out? Let us know how you're feeling about this rotation, by the way, in the comment section here on YouTube. And of course, while you're there, drop a question for us for our Friday show. Don't forget to catch tonight's game, 7:05 on the SiriusXM app. Download it. And by the way, you can get like a 3-month trial, like whenever you feel like it. I literally on a 3-month trial right now for the SiriusXM app, and it's great. I actually listen to Yankee games on there too, so check it out there. But coming up tomorrow, again, we're going to break down game 2 and whatever else is going on. Kind of silent news-wise over the last few days. We'll see who's hurt next. That's just kind of how things feel right now. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's Locked On Yankees. Stacey, I'm Steve Granato.
And I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. We'll see you tomorrow.